Today we are talking about Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. You have probably heard of this book before. It has sold over 20 million copies, been translated into more than 65 languages, and even has fans like Barack Obama, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg. That is a pretty impressive resume. But what is actually inside this book? Is it really that good, or is it just really good marketing? Let us dive into it. Sapiens is a history book, but not like the ones you read in school. It does not go year by year or focus on kings and battles. Instead, Harari tells the story of all of human history, from the first Homo sapiens walking the earth to the rise of modern capitalism and science. And he does it in about 450 pages. He breaks it down into 4 big chapters in our story as a species: the cognitive revolution, the agricultural revolution, the unification of humankind, and the scientific revolution. First, the cognitive revolution. This happened around 70,000 years ago when humans suddenly started thinking in more complex ways. Before that, we were just one of many species of human-like animals. We hunted, gathered, and lived in small groups. But then something changed. We developed the ability to imagine things that did not exist, like myths, gods, nations, and stories. This might sound small, but it was actually a huge leap forward. Why? Because it allowed humans to cooperate in large numbers. Harari gives a funny example. He says, you could never convince a monkey to give you a banana by promising him limitless bananas after death in monkey heaven. But humans, we believe in the afterlife, in rights, in nations. These are shared stories. And shared stories help large groups of strangers work together, something other animals cannot do. This is the core of Harari's argument. Our superpower isn't muscles or speed. It is imagination. Next comes the agricultural revolution, which happened about 12,000 years ago. This is when humans started farming and settled into permanent villages. At first glance, it looks like progress. Farming gave us more food, right? But Harari flips this idea on its head. He says the agricultural revolution actually made life worse for most people. Farmers worked longer hours than hunter-gatherers, ate a less diverse diet, and were more vulnerable to drought and disease. But because farming produced more food, populations grew, and once they grew, there was no going back. As he puts it, the agricultural revolution was history's biggest fraud. It is one of the book's boldest claims, and it definitely makes you think twice about what we call progress. The third part of the book is about the unification of humankind. Over time, different tribes and cultures began connecting through trade, conquest, and religion. Harari points out that empires, religions, and markets helped bring people together. They created shared rules and systems that allowed millions of people to cooperate. One example is money. A dollar bill has no value on its own. It only works because we all agree it has value. Same with companies. Harari uses Peugeot as an example. He says it is not just a factory or a car. It is a story that people believe in. Lawyers, investors, consumers, they all play a role in keeping the story alive. That is a theme you will hear over and over again in this book. Humans live in imagined realities. Whether it is religion, corporations, or countries, they are only real because enough people believe in them. It is a powerful idea and one that stays with you. Finally, we get to the scientific revolution, which began around 500 years ago. This is when humans began to admit we did not have all the answers. That sounds obvious now, but it was revolutionary at the time. Harari says modern science started not with knowledge, but with ignorance. We realized we didn't know everything, and we decided to go find out. This curiosity drove the rapid rise of science, industry, and empire. And it also fueled capitalism, which Harari says is now the world's most successful belief system. One quote that really stuck with me is this: luxury tends to become necessity and spawns new obligations. That hits home. Think about smartphones, air conditioning, Wi-Fi. Once they were luxuries, now we feel we cannot live without them. That is part of Harari's broader point. Our lives have improved in many ways, but we have also become more dependent, more anxious, and more trapped in systems we cannot control. Now let's talk about what people think of Sapiens. Online, the reviews are mostly glowing. On Goodreads, it holds a 4.4 out of 5. On Amazon, it is even higher at 4.6. Reviewers call it mind-opening, thought-provoking, and a masterpiece of storytelling. Many readers say it made them rethink everything they knew about history, religion, politics, and even themselves. On YouTube, creators love it too. Big names like Ali Abdaal, Nathaniel Drew, and Thomas Frank have all recommended it. It has also been discussed in book clubs, schools, and business circles worldwide. But it is not all praise. Some historians and academics have pushed back. The Guardian praised the book for its clarity, but said it often makes sweeping generalizations. Richard Evans, a prominent Cambridge historian, said it was riddled with errors and speculation masquerading as fact. He and others argue that Harari glosses over complex issues and simplifies things too much. For example, not all scholars agree with his take on agriculture or capitalism. Some say he blends science and opinion in ways that can be misleading. Another criticism is Eurocentrism, that is, telling history too much from a Western point of view. Harari tries to cover the whole world, but sometimes the focus stays on Europe, especially when he talks about progress and modernity. Still, even critics admit Sapiens is a gripping read. It is not meant to be a textbook. It is meant to get you thinking. And in that sense, it absolutely delivers. So should you read Sapiens? If you like big questions, bold ideas, and books that challenge your perspective, yes. It's not perfect, but it is powerful. It helps you see history not just as a list of events, but as a story we are still writing. And that story is shaped not just by facts, but by the beliefs we share and the myths we live by. For students, thinkers, creators, and anyone curious about who we are and where we are going, this book is a great starting point. Let us know what you think in the comments. Did Sapiens blow your mind? Or do you think Harari goes too far? What parts stuck with you? We would love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into books that open up new ways of thinking. This is In Tellings, where ideas come alive.